that rents just keep going up and up.
Director, thank you. Thank you, Chairman. I yield.
Thank you, Senator Schiff. Senator Kim of New Jersey, welcome. Welcome to the committee. Welcome to the Senate. Glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. And it's an honor to be able to overlap with you, to be able to have a chance to be able to serve together, however brief, but just the incredible work that you've done over your career. And it certainly puts a lot on us to make sure that we're continuing this fight. And Director, great to see you. I wanted to just kind of get into a few things. One of the biggest things I've tried to wrap my head around in this work is this kind of concept of what I call customer service governance. Just trying to make sure that we're being responsive to the people, trying to think through all the different ways in which people interact with government, and how do we make those interactions as frictionless as possible. And one thing that I was intrigued by is the work that your organization does direct to, for instance, the people of New Jersey. I think you fielded nearly 100,000 complaints from people in New Jersey, returned over $60 million just in the last year. I guess I want to get a sense from you, how that component of CFPB is working. Is there something there that can be scaled? Is there more that we can be doing to ensure that people are getting their returns, getting the resources that they deserve?
I love this question because we want government to be responsive to real problems, not fake ones. And one of the things that we do is we have a consumer response center, and it's not just a place where you send an email and it goes into a black hole. Since 2021, we've seen cases surge to about 200,000 a month, and we require financial institutions to respond. And that means without the CFPB spending any resources, people are getting refunds, their credit report corrected, and we have a dashboard that shows where people are complaining and about what. So in New Jersey, we know the types of complaints people have and the companies who are the subject of those complaints. This is all shared with law enforcement. And people tell me that when they file a complaint, get a response, sometimes get a refund, they think, wow, actually their government is doing something for them. And we have been working with other agencies to replicate that.
Now, one of the biggest complaints that I constantly hear, and I hear it not just from my constituents, I hear it from my mother, my father, about scams that are targeting elderly in our countries, targeting our seniors. I guess I just wanted a gut check from you. I know there's certainly steps that we've been trying to take on this, but are we making any progress here? Because it feels so overwhelming sometimes, just in terms of the sheer volume of these attacks. And I imagine they're getting more and more sophisticated. So I guess I wanted to just ask you, are we at the scale that we need? Are we moving in the right direction, or are we still falling behind you?
Well, it's pretty tragic because a lot of older Americans actually get texts and calls that seem so authentic. And with generative AI, they can even clone voices of their family members. These are so sophisticated that we need to look upstream. One of the places where a lot of scam texts come from is actually in Southeast Asia. And it is actually those who are victims of human trafficking that are sending those texts. We have to make sure we're sanctioning.
They're the victims of human trafficking that are being forced to do this?
Yes, they are being forced to scam people in America. And we have to make sure that we are sanctioning. The Treasury Department has done some of that. We have to make sure that our big telecom carriers are blocking some of these scam texts. And we also need to make sure that digital payment services are really identifying fraud and errors earlier. I worry we sometimes are playing a game of whack-a-mole, but need to go upstream to combat this at scale.
And I think that scaling component is what I'm trying to fixate on, because no doubt that we're taking some steps forward, but again, just the sheer volume, and as you said, with the advent of AI and other technologies that are out there, I guess I just wanted to get a sense from you, as you're seeing this across your portfolio, where are we heading here in terms of the capacity for AI to be used in those nefarious ways? I just imagine that, you can see things in terms of trajectories that are important for this committee to hear about, to know about, so that as we're trying to make decisions, we have a sense of what it is that we're trying to stop down the road.
Well, I think this committee played a big role in making sure that reports, dossiers about consumers are not being misused or weaponized. It's one of the reasons the CFPB is proposing rules to update the Fair Credit Reporting Act regulations to rein in some of the worst data broker abuses who often sell this data to scammers who are ripping off older Americans.
Great. Thank you so much. I yield back.
Thank you, Senator Kim. Director, thank you for joining us. Thanks to the witness. Thanks for all of you. For senators who wish to submit questions.